This is Greek with David Hutchison. Aorist passive indicative and future passive indicative. The key for both of the forms that we're studying today is theta, eta. Theta, eta. If you see an augment at the beginning of one of these forms, this will tell you that the form is aorist passive. The augment goes with the aorist. On the other hand, on a future, you're not going to see the augment at the very beginning. So no augment plus theta eta equals future passive. The other thing you're going to see with the future passive is the future key sigma. So we've got three keys to the aorist passive indicative: augment, theta eta, number two endings. Augment, theta eta, number two endings. Here are those number two endings: nu, sigma, movable nu, min, te, nu or son. Nu, sigma, movable nu, min, te, nu or son. These endings are actually called the secondary active endings, so it's a bit odd that they show up here on these passive forms. This is one benefit of using the designation number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 endings, although I still want you to know what they're called. But we are going to use these endings on the aorist passive. So here's what it looks like, the aorist passive indicative of luo. We've got the augment on front, we've got theta eta in the middle, then we've got number two endings. Eleuthein, eleuthes, eleuthe, eleuthemen, eleuthete, eleutheson. Augment, theta eta, number two endings. The translation would be: I was loosed, you were loosed, he, she, or it was loosed, we were loosed, you were loosed, they were loosed. Remember, with a passive verb, the subject is acted upon, and the aorist passive tells us most of the time in the indicative mood this happened in the past. There's a second way of forming the aorist passive called the second aorist passive. And just as we've said before, there is no difference between a first aorist and a second aorist in terms of meaning. There's no special significance for a verb doing second aorist. This is just a different way of forming the aorist tense. What the second aorist will do is it will not have a theta. So let's look at this from grapho, I write. We've got augment on front. Right towards the end where we expect to see theta eta, there's no theta, so all we're left with is the eta. Agraphein, agraphes, agraphe, agraphemen, agrafete, agrapheson. So for second aorist, you'll see augment at the beginning, and then you'll see simply eta rather than theta eta. Now for the future passive indicative, we've got three keys: theta eta, sigma, that's the big future key, sigma, and then number three endings. Theta eta, sigma, number three endings. Remember, the number three endings are my, aer, psi, tai, metha, sthe, intai. My, aer, psi, tai, methos the intai. So here's the future passive indicative of luo. Luthesomai, luthese, luthesetai, luthesomatha, luthesisthe, luthesantai. So you have that theta eta. Anytime you see theta eta, you know it's either aorist passive or future passive. There's no augment at the beginning, so it's not aorist passive. We do have the big future key, sigma, so we know this is future passive. Luthesomai, luthese, luthesetai, luthe samatha, luthesisthe, luthesantai. I will be loosed, you will be loosed, he, she, or it will be loosed, we will be loosed, you will be loosed, they will be loosed. There's also a second future passive. The same thing with the second aorist, there's no theta. Since these verbs are both built off the same stem, if a verb has a second aorist passive, it will also have a second future passive. Here's one from grapho. There's no theta here. Graphesomai, graphese, graphesetai, graphesamatha, graphesisthe, graphesantai. So no theta eta, just eta, and then that big key sigma, which is the key for the future tense. Do you remember earlier in the semester when we talked about some changes when things bumped into sigma? We talked about p beta phi, kappa gamma chi, tau delta theta. Well, just as changes occur when things bump into sigma, some changes can also occur when they bump into theta. So p beta phi plus a theta would equal phi plus a theta. From the verb pimpo, I send, here's an aorist passive form, epimphthe. So notice that p changes to a phi when you add the theta, epimphthe. Kappa gamma chi plus theta, that would be a chi theta. Here's one from Didasco, I teach. Now remember the root of Didasco is didac. So this is what happens on an aorist passive form when you add that theta. Edidac-thete. So it changes to a chi theta. Edidac-thete. And then with tau delta or theta plus theta, it equals sigma theta. Here's a future passive from patho. So it changes to sigma theta, pace thesantai. Pace thesantai. So you will see these changes. But if you focus still on the big keys, even these changes really won't trip you up that much. If you're ever unsure what happened, just look the verb up in a lexicon. Let's practice. Let's see if these are aorist passive or future passive. We've got the theta eta right in the middle. We've got an augment on front. So augment plus theta eta, what do you think that's going to mean? Aorist passive or future passive? Augment plus theta eta. Now we've got son ending. Nu, sigma, movable nu, mente, nu, or son. So that's third plural. Augment theta eta, number 2. That's aorist passive. Now on this son ending, you do see a sigma, so you might be thinking that's future. But remember, that's why it's so important to look for the augment at the beginning. The augment is only going to occur on the aorist passive form, not on the future passive form. So you see the augment at the beginning, and theta eta, it's aorist passive. Agraphe-son. We don't have theta eta, we just have eta. This is going to be one of these second forms, either second aorist passive or second future passive. We do have an augment at the front, so augment plus the eta, that's going to be aorist passive. Acousthe. This is from akuo with an alpha. So here's a theta eta. Now look, is that an alpha or has that lengthened? It lengthened, so that's an augment. So augment theta eta, is that aorist passive or future passive? Aorist passive. Acousthesetai. from akuo. Theta eta, no augment. We do have a sigma. Theta eta plus sigma, no augment, future passive. I want to show you some of the most common aorist passive forms in the New Testament. This first one is from apokrinomai, I answer. It's a deponent, has that my ending, or for those who reject deponency, it would be a middle-only verb. This one occurs 82 times. So here's the theta eta. The augment comes right where it's supposed to when you have a prepositional prefix. Comes at the beginning of the verb stem, after the prepositional prefix. So it kind of looks like it's in the middle, but it's right before the verb stem. So this is ekrithe. Since it's deponent, we'll translate it as if it's active. So basically what we have is aorist active. So he answered. Can you guess where you've got some dialogue going on a lot and you might see this verb turn up a bunch? Yeah, the Gospels. Now you haven't studied this verb yet, but it's so common I just thought I would go ahead and show it to you. This is from didomi. The verb stem is da. So we have an augment on front and theta eta. The verb means to give. Aorist passive, he was given. Here's another one from apokrinomai, the same one as the first example. Looks very similar, just a different ending at the end. Ekritheson. So here's our augment. There's theta eta. We have the son ending because that's third plural. That's why it's important to find that augment at the beginning. They answered. And then the verb egero, which means I raise or I rise. The aorist passive is egerthe. Augment on the front, theta eta. He was raised. Now here's some common future passive forms from the New Testament. This first one is from didomi. Again, you haven't studied this verb yet, but I want to go ahead and show it to you. From the verb stem da thesetai. So theta eta, sigma, no augment at the beginning. So this is future passive. He, she, or it will be given. So thesetai, from sozo, no augment, theta eta, then we do have that sigma. So this is future passive. From sozo, I save. He, she, or it will be saved. Klethesetai. Another one you haven't studied yet, but it means to call. Kaleo, to call, I call. Klethesetai. He, she, or it will be called. Egerthesetai. From egero, to rise or to raise. He, she, or it will be raised. Let's see some of these in action. Some aorist passive verbs. Uk estin hode, egerthe gar kathos apen. He is not here, uk estin hode, for he was raised, that's the aorist passive of egero, for he was raised just as, kathos, apen, he said. E baptiste, eis ton Jordanen hupa Ioannou. He was baptized, aorist passive, from baptizo. He was baptized in the Jordan by John. Apekrithe ha Jesus. Jesus answered. This is that verb apokrinomai, I answer. Remember, it's deponent or middle only. Jesus answered. Certainly you'll see that a lot in the Gospels. Here's one from that verb didomi, which means I give. The verb stem da. Hanamas dia mouseos edathe. The law was given through Moses. Now here are some future passive examples. Makarioi hoi erena poioi. That word makarioi means blessed. It occurs in the Beatitudes, put up at the front for emphasis. Blessed are the peacemakers. You see the word erene in there for peace. Then that other part is the ones who make. Poieo, to make or to do. Blessed are the peacemakers. Hati autoi huioi theou clay thesentai. This is from that verb that means to call, kaleo. This is future passive. They will be called huioi theou, sons of God. Here's one from agero, to rise or to raise. Kai te trite hemera egerthesetai. And on the third day he will be raised. This one is from baptizo. Humeste in pneumati baptisthesis the hagio. But you will be baptized, and then the word spirit is pneumati, and the adjective is at the end here. You will be baptized in, with, or by. That's that preposition in. You will be baptized in, with, or by the Holy Spirit. One from sozo. And a lot of the words here you haven't had, so I'm just going to give you the English translation. Everyone who calls on the name of the Lord, sothesetai, will be saved.